Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Shelby Bowen. I'm a Christian life coach, and today we are diving into the question that every single person has at some point in their life, and something you might be wondering about today that pertains to your life, and that is, what is my purpose? If you hear meowing in the background, that would be my cat. And so this isn't just for Christian women. This isn't just for women or Christians. This is for everybody, but I work with women one-on-one, and so I'm going to be sharing with you some of the setbacks that I see in their day-to-day lives that is hindering them from stepping into purpose, and some of the things that we implement that see huge breakthrough in their lives and that I've used in my own life. So before we start diving into those things, let's just define what is purpose, what is calling, what are these things, these words, these Christianese phrases that we use, that we adopt, what do they actually mean? So I'm going to just read this. This is off Google, and this is what we're going to go with for now on how we're going to define purpose. And it says, life purpose is a person's overall vision for their life based on what's most important to them. It's a central goal or set of goals that can guide decision making, create meaning, and influence behavior. Life purpose can include many aspects of life, which that is so important, such as career, such as family, love, relationships, and personal growth. It can also involve understanding your values, passions, and strength, and the impact that you want to make in the world. I want to highlight a key point here, and that is how a lot of these things that we just listed for what is life purpose, personal growth, family, understanding your values, career, love, relationships, all of this stuff requires seasons of life, layers of wisdom and knowledge and experience that you pick up along the way. So if you're a young woman or man who is listening to this, and even if you're not young and you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing with my life, you're right on track. You are right on time. That is okay. I think so many of us still are like, what are we doing with our life? I love what I do now, which is coaching women and educating people on spiritual abuse, helping people heal from spiritual abuse. But is this what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life? I don't know. That's a question I ask myself. Is it something I want to do for the rest of my life? But the thing is, as humans, we so desperately want to have all the answers now. What is my 10-year plan? What is my 20-year plan? Even what is my 5-year plan? And when we overanalyze these things and we have analysis by paralysis of what are all of these different things I'm going to be doing? How am I going to get there? What is it going to look like? How much money am I going to be making? Where am I going to be living? What's my relationship going to look like? Where is my faith going to be in all of that? It can be, and it is, super overwhelming. Really quickly, if you would like to work with me one-on-one as a life coach to help you make these decisions that you have to break free from some of the shame or negative mindsets that you've been carrying with you throughout your life that are impacting you and your purpose and where you want to go, I will link that information down below. You can book a free discovery call with me, and all of that information is in the description below. I want to kick this off by saying I am listening to this fiction writing podcast. It's called Fiction Writing Made Easy, and I'm working on writing a fiction book, and so I'm doing a lot of studying on how to write fiction books well. Anyways, they were talking about something within the podcast that pertained literally just to fiction writing, and I was like, this is so much how life purpose is. And they were talking about how writers, and now hang with me here because this really helped my mindset, and I think it could help yours too. They talk about how over 90%, I don't know the actual number off the top of my head, astronomical amount of people who set out to write a book never complete it. And one of the main reasons why is they are overwhelmed by the plot. What is going to happen? When is it going to happen? The dialogue, the characters, the tropes, the red herrings, all of the different things that encompass a book, they overwhelm themselves with up front. So then they're writing, then they go back and they edit, and they write a little more, then they go back and edit, write a little bit more, then they scratch the whole thing and start all over again. And how often do we do that with our life? we get going, then we analyze what we're doing, then we're like, I don't know if this is what I should be doing, and then we start over again, and it's just this loop of what the heck is going on with my life. And instead of thinking right now at whatever age you're at, because it really does not matter what age you're at, because like I said, the purpose that you're going to have in your life is not going to be the same purpose you have in your life your entire life. If it is, I mean, that's very rare. But the purpose that you have going out of high school and into college, getting a degree and starting your career versus being 30 years old, then having kids, and how that career kind of goes into a family life and all of that, it changes. And so you're not going to have all the answers right now to what your life is going to look like 10 years from now. And so I set dreams and I set goals for myself of things I want to do, but the overall purpose, the overall things that are driving me in life, I kind of like a little bit of fluidity in that. And that is what helps me specifically. And so I want to share with you what they said about the fiction writing or about nonfiction writing. And it is the fact that when you start out, just know where your beginning is and where you want to end up. Where do you want to end up in your life? Do you want to end up emotionally stable, physically healthy, spiritually healthy, having a stable income, having a healthy family? Okay, those are all end goals. Like, that's where we all want to end up in life, where we're like, okay, I did all of these things. I had lived life well. I experienced, I traveled if you want to do that. I gave back to my community. I pursued my faith. I had a healthy family. Those are all things you look back at the end. So we know that's where we're going to. So the decisions that you're making are going to run through that filter. Is this going to lead me here? And so when you start out, it is not about having every single detail of your life planned out to a T. Think of your life as drafts. Fiction writers, and again, nonfiction writers, sometimes have 14 drafts to their book. 14! And what a pressure that takes off of when you begin knowing that changes are going to come along the way. As you discover the plot of your life, as you discover the characters, the people who come into your life. I mean, you've not even met all the people in your life who you're going to love. I mean, if you're married, you met your spouse, but what about all of the friends you'll love and all of the different people who will come into your life from mentors with a purpose to aid you in this calling that you have that you're setting out to do? And so think about it like right now you are on one draft. And there are so many more revisions and things to come, but just focus on draft 0, right? Focus on draft 5, whatever draft you're on. Focus on that. How can you just continue in what you're doing and trust that everything else will come along the way? Take the paralysis by analysis out by overanalyzing every single thing you're doing and just allow yourself to live presently in the moment. And look, I am preaching to myself when I say this because I can struggle so hard on this, but living presently is one of the most life-changing and simplistic things you can do. You'll hear it all the time, oh, live present in the moment. But when you actually live present, set down the phone, how much time are you spending on social media a day? Because that is not present. How much time are you going outside, going for a walk in nature, which, side note, studies have shown that being in nature, going for a walk outside is one of the best ways that you can regulate your nervous system. I know that can be so difficult, but it can be one of the most transformative things to help you just flow into the next draft, flow into the next thing as the wisdom, as the knowledge of what you're supposed to do next, of how you're using these things that you've done to incorporate into the next area or season of your life. That will help you flow with an ease that you won't have if you are stressed out and concerned over every little thing that hasn't happened yet and most likely isn't going to happen. Okay, scripturally speaking, I'm going to read a verse out of the book of Ecclesiastes to give a little bit of perspective on life purpose isn't about purpose lived in the world, but he talks about how Ecclesiastes 12:13-14. Here is the conclusion of the matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God will bring every deed into judgment, including every hidden thing, whether it is good or evil. What is purpose with God supposed to be? Okay, glorifying God in what we do and enjoying fellowship with him, having a good relationship with others, loving people well, working. Okay, so getting a job, doing something, putting your hands to work. Number 4, having dominion over the earth. All of these things are really simple, and yet we have so complicated purpose in life. And I see this especially in the hyper charismatic church movement, where we're looking for this life-changing prophetic word about this revelation on this one specific thing that we're supposed to do in our life, which leads me to the point that purpose is so often over spiritualized in the Christian world. And your life purpose is not, again, it is not just one thing. It is what we just talked about. It is glorifying God and enjoying fellowship with Him. It is having a good relationship with other people, loving people well, serving, doing things for people in need, working and having dominion over their. These are all very simplistic mindsets that we should have, yet we've made them so complicated. I don't know what God's calling is for my life. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing for my life. Those things. How has God, this is why I love the Lord's Prayer. Every day I wake up and it's like, God, give me today my daily bread. Lead me not into temptation, but deliver me from evil. For yours is the kingdom. Like, that is the prayer of life that we need to have, the mindset that we should have in our everyday life. Like, give me today what I need. His mercies are new every day. Tomorrow's troubles are for tomorrow. They're for today. So give me, God, what I need today, and focus on that, and let God slowly move the ball forward in your life. Don't over spiritualize this thing of, oh, look at this person on social media and this calling and purpose they have for their life. What am I going to do with my life? Turn the phone off. Set it down. Do not compare. Comparison is the thief of joy. Do not compare your life and where you're at to where somebody else is, because your journey could have so many different loops and turns along the way that are different than the loops and turns that other person had. You might still be on draft 4. They might be on draft 10. It doesn't matter. And what looks like so great might not actually be so awesome in what they're doing in their life. Do you know how many pastors and preachers put off this show like they have this amazing purpose and calling on their life, yet they're abusing people behind the scenes? That is not fruit. That is not success. Fruit is not how many social media followers you have, or how many likes or comments you have on a post, or how much money you have, or what car you drive, or what house you live in. None of that is fruit. And so when you think about what your next step is, what are the things you're good at? What are the talents and gifts that you have? Are you really good with numbers? Maybe you're supposed to go into finance. Are you really good with taking care of people and loving people well? Maybe you're supposed to go into healthcare. Maybe you're supposed to be a nurse. I don't know what it is, but assess what you like to do. Assess your strengths. What are your weaknesses? If you're really good at finance, if you're really good with numbers and putting spreadsheets together, then you probably don't need to go off and work for some ministry, doing media. You probably need to be doing finance and going out into the world and be a light in this world. We so often in the church are looking to outshine one another instead of celebrating each other's light and just going out into the world and being that light to the world. Instead, it's, look what I'm doing for God. Look at my ministry. Look what I can do. Look at my giftings. Look at my callings. And it is such an unhealthy way of Christianity, and not at all a way that we are called to be living out our day-to-day life. It is super, super unhealthy. And so when it comes to my clients, those are some of the main points that I see that hinders them from what they're supposed to be doing in life. Over spiritualizing what this grandiose calling they believe that they're supposed to have from a hyper charismatic church has told them, and also being so overwhelmed by where they're at now, yet where they want to be, and just starting. So many of the women that I talk to have these dreams and goals and desires to start something and to build something, but they're so overwhelmed from the coping mechanism of perfectionism, which perfectionism is a coping mechanism, and thinking everything has to be perfect before they just begin. When I started my Instagram account, or when I started this YouTube channel, I had no idea this was going to be the topic that I was going to be going into. I knew that I wanted to help people. I knew I wanted to encourage people. I was going through the process of training to become a life coach, but I had no idea my niche was going to be helping people heal from spiritual abuse. And again, I don't know if that's going to be what it is long term. I don't know. I don't know. But right now I'm going to be faithful with what I have and with what God has given me. And I'm just going to continue pursuing that and moving forward. And as life flows, as a new draft begins, I will incorporate that into what I do and just let God direct our steps naturally and focus on God. What is my daily bread today? Just post the thing, write the thing, apply for the job. Don't think that your life has to be perfectly in order for you to go after whatever it is that is on your heart to do, because newsflash, it will never be perfectly in order. So just remember that. I know it would sound way better if I could give you some idea of purpose being some flashy, really cool, expensive, beautiful thing, but in reality, purpose is glorifying God. It is loving God and it is loving people. And that might be disappointing to you, but I want you to take a moment to think about the pressure that comes off of you in that all of the purpose of, work and dreams and desires, that will come, but that is just one piece of it. How are you glorifying God? How are you loving Him today? How are you loving others well today? And the rest of all of that will come. But this purpose doesn't have to be this, and it isn't this beautiful, pretty, expensive thing. It is hard, and it usually comes from talking about spiritual abuse is not easy for me. I only talk about it because I know it, because I've experienced it. I never knew that this was going to be something I would do with my life because I never knew I was going to go through the things that I did. And I'm not saying that you have to take your pain and make it your purpose, because that's not always, needed for everything that we go through in our life. But you never know what purpose is going to come out of from the things that you experience and you go through and you walk through in your life. And so just allow yourself to appreciate the draft that you're on, to live present into the moment, to pour into the people who are around you, into yourself, into your physical and emotional and spiritual health. And then everything else will flow from that. I know it's hard, and I know patience isn't easy, but it produces character, it produces endurance, which produces character. And so all of these things have a purpose. They all have a plan. They're all strengthening who you are as an individual into somebody that you will be proud that you have become, because you have been patient, you have endured, you have strengthened yourself in wisdom. And so I hope this video has just given you a little bit of encouragement to take the pressure off, to take the weight off, to just look at, what am I good at? What are my talents? What are my strengths? Analyze those things, live present in the moment, love God, and love other people. If you would like to work with me one-on-one, I will link my information down below. You can also book a free discovery call, which will be linked down below. Until next time, I'll see you soon.